Hey y'all, welcome to episode 2 of my podcast, Damien's Corner, The Art of Conversation. I'm actually pretty late on uploading a second video. This is something that I want to do like consistently, at least twice a week. But I just started a new job and it's, taking up a lot of my time at the moment, which is a great thing. I'm not complaining about it. So I'm just in a learning curve and going through the learning curve, learning the role, just learning how to be proficient at it. So that's taking a lot of my time. But I know once I get more comfortable in the role, then it can free up some time for me to sit here and just chat with you guys. So now that's out the way, I'm actually in a very, very good mood. So I guess a little life update before we get into the topic of the video. Like I said, I started a new job. I'm in sales, so I have a monthly quota. Just hit my quota with a little bit over a week left. So feeling good about that. It's been a grind, man. It's been a grind. And that goes into my last episode of having a positive mindset. Because, I started this role 3 weeks ago. And I was doing well within the first weeks. But I wasn't getting like qualified meetings. So I wasn't hitting my goal. And I was putting in a lot of work and a lot of effort to hitting that goal. And, I just wasn't getting my desired results. So just like with any human being, I guess, you just start to question yourself like, am I doing the right things? Is this role for me still? But one thing, I posted this on my LinkedIn, that one thing you can maintain is your attitude. And just your approach to work. And that's something I just keep reminding myself every day. Like, look, I can't control if, things aren't going my way. But what I can control is my attitude, how optimistic I am, and what I'm allowing to creep into my head. And what I can't control is my work ethic. Like, just continue to keep pushing and grinding. The results will eventually come. They might not come at the time you want them, but they will come. And because of the mindset, I was able to push on to me achieving my monthly goal and me resulting in being in a good mood. So, I guess enough about me for right now. Let's get into why I wanted to record this video. So, this year, I had a goal to read 20 books this year. Alright, in the past, I wasn't much of a big reader. It's something that I told myself I was going to do, but I never really got around to it because of, honestly, laziness. I was just being lazy and just dropped my pen. And once I graduated college, I felt like, oh, nice, I'm done. I don't have to, write any more essays. Do any last minute study sessions. It was kind of like I was telling myself I will no longer have to learn anymore. And I feel like a lot of people who finish school fall into that same trap. And that kind of like put me behind into my growth process. You should always want to learn. You know what I mean? Because it just helps you as a person. You just improve yourself and you just feel better about yourself. Your vocabulary improves. You're able to hold conversations. And I just don't know why I was telling myself like I no longer have to learn. But it's actually really fun learning and just reading different books just to see how other people think and actually get your mind flowing and you start to develop your own opinions. So the books that I read this year, I definitely didn't agree with all of the author thoughts in it, but it had me thinking. It started to make me think in different ways of like, I may not agree with his ideas, but I could see where he's coming from. Then I could develop my own opinion, and then what I like to jot that down, maybe further research on into the topic. So far this year, I've read going on to 10 books. I slowed down mid-year. I was off to a pretty good start, but I slowed down mid-year once I started to like focus on other things. I was just trying to balance so much at once. I actually still kind of struggling with that. So many things I want to do, but I'm starting to get a little better with it. So the book that I wanted to talk about first is Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Now, it's between this and Adam Grant Think Again on the best books that I've read so far this year. And once the year ends, because I still have a couple more books that I haven't finished or haven't started yet, so my opinion may change on what I think is the best book that I read this year as I, continue to push through some of these books. But man, this book just had me just reflecting on my life and just reflecting on the things that I used to care about and just have me thinking in a much more positive manner now. Whenever I looked at reviews of this book, everybody basically had the same general consensus of what this book is about. But me, I feel like I developed different opinions about it than other people. And I saw a few different opinions and people took different things from the book. But it goes into also and just like how unfair life can be. I hear a lot of people this is why sometimes I try to stay offline. A lot of people on social media, they see the rich billionaires and millionaires. Let's go like Elon Musk, for example. I hear people say, hey, I'm going to be the next Elon Musk. Or, hey, if I continue to work hard, I could be the next Jeff Bezos. When it doesn't work like that. There's only one Jeff Bezos and just one Elon Musk. You haven't been through their life experiences or don't have the same background where they came from to say that you're going to be the next Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. Just because they're rich and wealthy, you don't know what was given to them or what struggles they went through to achieve that wealth. Now, there are so many different types of millionaires, and everybody has a different story on how they got there. Now, I say that to say this. In the book, Bill Gates actually talks about how lucky he is to be where he at today. And I just thought, I found that to be, really brave of him to say that, because I would think a man of his stature and a man with his type of wealth, he would just say that, I guess what a lot of typical millionaires would say, I worked hard for this, which they did. I worked hard for this, I earned it, and you can do the same thing too. But he actually acknowledged he's here because of, along with his hard work and along with his self-discipline, he was also lucky. And I think in life you just have to get lucky sometimes. So in the book, it explains that Bill Gates, he's known for one of the co-founders of Microsoft, that Bill Gates went to a school with one of the only schools in the United States that had a computer, and that allowed him to learn more about computer programming and coding. At the time when he was a teenager, there weren't a lot of schools that had access to even a computer, much alone computer programming. So because Bill Gates was fortunate enough to just attend the only school with access to a computer, it allowed him to be ahead of the curve and to learn something that just wasn't easily accessible to other people. And that just had me thinking about myself, because look, I think there's something that we all fall victim to. We compare our lives to others, and I believe that's one of the biggest detriments to social media, which is why I really try not to go. Well, I don't want to say not go on social media, because I do go on it, but I try to go on it, and when I look at things, I take it with a grain of salt, because it's easy to compare your life to somebody on there, because you're only going to see the good moments, right? There are people who post their bad moments, where I think people overshare on social media, but rarely you will see somebody post the negative things in their life or the problems that they're going through. People just want to show the great things in life, the trips that they're going on, the happy moments. And you as a person may be going through something in life at the moment and like, wow, that person's just so lucky to be so happy. And me, I'm just struggling to find happiness, which is, it's not the case. Everybody, most of the people go through the same things. Everybody has the same problems. It's just what we choose to post and what we choose to show. So, yeah, so that's why I try to, kind of stay off of social media and just take things with a grain of salt, because you never know what people are really going through internally. So, yeah, I kind of went on a tangent there, which is fine. But yeah, so like back to Bill Gates. So like I just found it very good. It was just very humbling for him to just say like, how lucky I was, how lucky he was to, achieve his status. So yeah, like I was saying, it just made me think like, Damien, like I have my own story. No matter what, like, yes, I want to become similar. I mean, who doesn't want to become similar to, Bill Gates or some of these other, rich moguls? But the fact is, I'm not going to become them because I'm not them. I come from a different background, different storyline, like different everything. So I'm not going to become him. I'm just going to become the best Damien I can be. And this book just kind of helped me realize that, because I fell into that trap of saying, man, I wish I could be like this person. Man, I wish, I could have the nice things that this person have. And quite frankly, who knows what that person went through to get that? Or who knows what luck and what was involved that I wasn't fortunate enough to have for him to get that. And I've been, lucky in my life also. I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. And I'm happy to be where I'm at today. Because I know there are people who want to be in my shoes today. And, and I think it's just very stupid of me to just try to complain and be like, hey, I wish I was this person, when in fact, I think sometimes we have to take a step back and look where we're at. And we're actually very blessed. We actually have a lot of things that some people thrive for. Like I was walking through Times Square one time and I just see a lot of homeless people. And, you would just sit there and think like, wow, you complain about some small little things while these people here are just trying to look for a place to stay for the night or look for another meal. So stop comparing your life to other people. You have your own story. You will get there how you can get there. And everything's just going to work out fine. All right? So here's another point in the book. Yes, I agree with this. Timing is a critical component of success and opportunity. Now, the best way I can explain this is luck is also involved with this, but the best way I can explain this is like, in a book, I can't remember, verbatim what they was talking about, but basically there was a time period in which people were investing, right? And they invested in that time period and got very rich. But if they, didn't invest in that period, basically they just wouldn't be rich. So that's what what they're kind of getting at is like, sometimes luck is involved sometimes luck is involved for time. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I was interrupted. But yeah. Yeah, so there's opportunity that presented itself, but you have to, be lucky enough to be in that time period where the opportunity that is highest. But what I took from that though is opportunities do not come very often. So you need to always be prepared to take advantage of that opportunity. So my mindset this year, coming into this year, was I've let a lot of opportunities slip by. because of me just being unsure of myself, being lazy, or just having self-doubt. And those opportunities, I'm pretty sure, won't ever come again. So when the next opportunity comes, I better take advantage of it. So that's just old. So I'm just preparing myself day in, day out, doing the right things. At least I think I'm doing the right things in life. So when there's a certain time period which opportunity comes, I'm going to take advantage. So I know a lot of people who bought homes, during the COVID, during COVID, there was at the all-time lowest interest rate. That was a time period for people to buy houses because the interest rates would not be that low. And look where we at now. Interest rates are at an all-time high. So time period is very important, involving into your growth process. All right, now this is something I, really live by. I think I overdo it now. The infamous rule is to work at something for 10,000 hours to master it. Now, in the book, they talk about the Beatles. They became the Beatles because they was just practicing all the time, man. And they had the opportunities to where they was performing at these concerts all the time. So by the time they actually started, they got hot and started to perform at real shows, they were used to it. They were masterful at it. So when I read that I took my game up to another level, man. I just wanted to do nothing but work. And I think I probably overdid it this year a little bit. I was supposed to go to Thailand with a group of friends this year, but I had a lot of goals that I wanted to achieve, and I had things that I wanted to accomplish. And there were also other reasons that I just won't specify at this moment, that I was like, I can't go right now. I have to work. I have to grow. I have to keep learning. I got a lot of things I want to do before I, reward myself with any type of vacation or relaxation. I'm like, I'm just on go. So I enrolled myself into an online program to break into the industry I'm in now. I also doing that while balancing a full-time job. Also trying to put in extra hours after the class to, do what I do now to become a better salesman by reading sales books, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts. I'm a big gamer, and because I've started this journey this year, I basically not stopped gaming, but I just don't have a lot of time for it anymore. So like whenever I get like a little break, I would like to play a game, but since it's been kind of long, I probably play for sometimes 20 minutes, like, and I'm done, I'm going to sleep. And also that's what I committed myself also, is to sleeping early. So I've wanted to work hard mode. And the reason why I said I probably overdid it, because I felt like I messed up some relationships doing it, because the people that I used to hanging out with and talk to, I just wasn't talking to, and which is sometimes it just is what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to go in a cocoon for a while, focus on yourself and build yourself up in order to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So because I put myself in the position I am now, I don't want to say I regret it or I'm sorry for it, but I think it's something that I will try to balance out a bit more in the future. Like if I'm trying to switch it over to a career or try new things in my life, I will see if there's a way if I can balance. If I can't balance it, then I'm going to choose myself and, the people that I care about, my family first. But yeah, like work, man, work hard. And every morning I wake up and just thankful that I have the ability to work. Because some people, I see online too, like how people just don't want to work these days sometimes. And if you want to achieve anything in life, you just have to work. Like, it's just something you gotta do. Like, I'm trying to improve my physique. I have to work at that. I have to go to the gym. I have to be active. I have to eat right. It's not the most fun thing to do, but it betters myself. So that is something that I'm going to do. I want to improve my vocabulary. So I have to read more. I have to work at it. And I think anything that involves work has such a negative connotation to it that when you say work, people be like, something that I gotta do that I don't necessarily want to do. But I feel like once you find something fun to do within that work, it's great. So, like, for example, I like to go to the gym. The gym is hard. I'm not even going to hold you. There's some days I'm like, man, I just do not want to go to the gym, but I force myself to go. But sometimes instead of doing that, I go play basketball. Basketball is fun. I'm still getting, some exercise in. I'm still burning calories. Also, it's fun to think that I'm in the NBA court. Damian Brooms. 3, 2, 1. He missed. Air ball. Sometimes it's fun to go through those little simulations in my head. But at the same time, I'm achieving two things at once. I'm having fun. And most importantly, burning calories, sweating, living a healthy lifestyle. So I think sometimes you just got to find something you want to do. And, I was also caught in the trap of saying like, oh man, I don't feel like going to work today. So what I did, I changed jobs. You gotta, work can be fun. You just have to change the situation and just think of creative ways to do the work while also having fun. So you want to become great, you want to become successful, you want to become masterful at something, you have to put in the time. That's something common that I hear with everyone, with like all the motivational speakers, all the successful people, just how hard they work. I'm like, okay, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. 50 Cent, I know he's in the news for, all the wrong reasons right now, but he's my favorite rapper of all time. And his work ethic that I hear from his peers and what I heard in his previous interviews is unmatched. It's unbelievable. One time I heard in the interview, this is when he was coming out with the Get Rich or Die Trying movie. And he said, and somebody was just asking him, oh, when do you have time to sleep? He said, sleep? Well, I don't got time to sleep. I gotta work. I gotta do what I gotta do. I got this album to push out. I got this movie to finish. Promos to do. There's no time for me to sleep. And, I don't want to like glorify, potentially breaking down your body to achieve goals, because, that's not for everyone. But it's just the fact that he was willing to put in the work, because that's how bad he wants success. So it's really how badly you want it that's going to help you achieve your goals. Now, legacy often drives our behavior. The Gladwell book also argues that our values are passed down from generations to generation. I agree with that. Now that last point is not my point, but I agree with that. So I guess basically they are saying that, if I live in an environment and I see somebody doing the correct things, I'm going to want to mirror those behaviors, because if I see the success it brings and all the positive things it brings to them, why wouldn't I want to be like that person? So, man, I think this also brings out another conversation. I think, this is a hole I want to kind of hop down to. So, where you come from plays a huge effect into your outcome. Now, some people come from bad environments and they're able to overcome that and be great. Some people can't. Also, in this book, this one story that just stuck out to me, man. I can't remember the guy's name, but the book makes him sound like he was the smartest man ever lived. The environment he came from, it hindered him. It, I believe it stopped him from being even more successful than he could have been, or just successful. That's why luck plays a part into it. So he was a young man. He had three other brothers. His father died. I think two of the other brothers' father died and one walked out. They had an abusive stepfather, and basically they grew up poor. They didn't have a lot of money to eat. But the thing that gave him hope, he was just super smart, which he earned himself a scholarship to college. Now he got kicked out of college because his mother didn't. The college was contingent on, the family's financial state. Since it was since they grew poor, the school offered him a scholarship because his mother never sent in the proper paperwork. His scholarship never renewed, and they gave it away. And that had me thinking. And he also said he just don't understand why his mom never did it and why his mom never said anything. But he kind of just accepted it and walked away. And in my head, I'm like, man, why wouldn't you fight that? I would have just blown up my mom's phone. I would have done anything I could have done to try and, make me stay, because if I am in a bad environment, there's nothing for me back there. But he took the news and just left. So that had me thinking two things, man. Like, having a great support system, you're very fortunate. Like my mom, she would have done anything for me to make me achieve. If she didn't have, she would find a way to get. If I didn't have, she would find a way to make me get. And my brother and I, she would just do anything for us. But some people are, born with parents who just don't care about their well-being like that. So having a proper support system, if you have one, if you're a viewer and you have a great support system and great parents who care about you, who willing to do anything for you, you're very lucky. Very lucky, because the fact that this boy's parent couldn't even just send in proper paperwork to make sure he keeps his scholarship because of whatever reasons, it's just so sad to me, man. Like, I felt for him when I read that. So now, to continue his story, he went to a local community college. Doing great. But it was far, so he had to drive. He had to commute there, so he drove back and forth. Car breaks down. So he's tried to switch his schedule and try to switch his classes, and basically the school says, no, that's something you can't do. And I was like, BS. When I was in school, I was changing my classes all the time. But because they said no, he basically was always late, basically flunked out, and there goes his second college opportunity. And I was like, man, this man just got some bad luck. And you can do all the right things. You can just do everything in your power. But sometimes things just working against you, and there's just really no solid explanation for that. But again, he never really truly fought it. So the book was also saying the book also brought up other examples of people who fought for their rights basically, and just fought for things that we're fighting for, and they got the results they wanted. Because he was just, I guess, growing up raising himself, he never really had proper parenting to show him some things in life you have to fight for. And that's something I definitely have to get better at too. I'm a introvert, which is, I'm not even gonna lie to you, it was a lot for me to even put myself out there, but hey, I feel like I should. So that's something that was hard for me to do, to stick up for myself a bit in the past, but people cannot run over you. So yeah, man, this book is really great. I'm actually gonna read it a second time. But the main thing that really sticks out to me about this book is Don't compare yourself to people. We all have our own stories. We all have our own chapters. And we all have our own successes. Just because you might not be a multi-billionaire like Jeff Bezos don't mean you're not a successful person. We all have our own purpose in this life. I mean, just be grateful that you're even alive. Think about it. Some people are just not here right now, not in the land of the living. Every day you're alive, you have an opportunity to do something great, and that's what I always tell myself. Whenever I wake up just energized, full of energy. I'm like, I have an opportunity today to do something great. I have an opportunity to make more money. I have an opportunity to help somebody, put a smile on people's face, or to just even talk to people. Be there to help. Once you just find your why, you'll be fine. And sometimes you're gonna struggle to even find your why. It's not an easy thing to do. Man, there was so many years I was like, man, I don't even know what I want to do in my life. I don't know what I want to do with myself. I was just struggling to find a reason to I don't want to say live, but finding a reason to keep pushing on, because I just couldn't find my why. But I think helping people and just conversating with people is something I'm good at and something I just want to do. And I wake up every morning excited to go to work. Wake up every morning excited to make motivational posts on my LinkedIn. And I've seen it has a positive effect so far. I get inboxes sometimes of people asking. Literally, I got an inbox of somebody just asking for my help, saying like, hey, do you mind if I hop on a quick call and you could explain your background to me? I'm like, of course, sure. So when I was on my lunch break, I had a quick chat with the young man, and I was just glad that I could help in any type of way. So yeah, I'm going to conclude. I'm going to finish this episode now, and I think I have a lot more books I want to share with you guys, and just the lessons that came from it. And in some episodes, I'm just going to just talk about things that I'm feeling or thinking about, and just love to hear your opinions on it. So if you read this book, leave your comments down below. Leave what you thought, some of the key points that came from this book, and maybe if you have any book recommendations that you want to show me, that'd be great also. And yeah, until the next time, later.